Book summaries brought to you. Don't waste your effort in the wrong direction. The surprising science that explains why everything you know about success is mostly wrong, by Eric Parker. We live in a competitive world, and we grow up hearing that good grades will get us into good colleges, and only then can we be successful. But what if a lot of what we've been taught about achieving success is wrong? Success is more about breaking the rules rather than following them, and doing what you are passionate about, instead of what society dictates. Of course, confidence and hard work are also important, but they are meaningless unless you have long-term goals to tie them to. By looking at some real-life examples of success, the following chapters will reveal what it really takes to get ahead of others and help you achieve your life goals. Chapter 1. Playing by the rules will not take you far. Creativity is the real engine of success. Almost every parent wants his teenage son to be conscious and intelligent, in addition to the grades that prove this. Students with these qualities often grow up to be reasonably successful. The problem is that being able to succeed in a rule-governed environment like high school will not prepare a student to rise to the top of the real world. In fact, the number of high-achieving students who change the world is almost zero. There is a study from Boston College that shows this. Researchers followed 81 high-achieving students from the time of graduation onward. They discovered that these high-achieving students rarely had good vision in their life endeavors. Instead of changing the regime, they simply settled in and integrated into it. How is that? Well, good grades are an excellent indicator of a person's ability to follow rules. However, while school has clear guidelines, life does not. It's an unpredictable roller coaster ride with no clear path. In this environment, rule-addicted academics lose their edge, but if top students aren't the most successful people in the world, then who are they? Yes, they are those geeks, the undisciplined creatives, who can adapt to every aspect of the outside world. These creative people work with passion rather than external rules. They stick to their passion projects. This is a clear characteristic of distinction. Just think about a sample of the richest people in the world. Do they follow the rules to the letter? Of course not. About 58 people on Forbes' list either dropped out of college or never went to college, those 50 who failed academically. They have more wealth than other individuals who attended elite schools. Chapter 2. Good people may have great success or complete failure in the 1980s and 1990s. An American doctor named Michael Swango killed at least 60 patients while his colleagues suspected him. In these crimes, none of them tried to interfere. This is just an example of how bad people look. They get away with it, but is the world really tilted in their favor? Ready to be bad? One thing is for sure, good people tend to make less money and receive worse reviews than their harsher colleagues. For example, the study conducted by Harvard Business Review found that men who score low on the compatibility scale earn up to $10,000 more per year. Who are those who have a great deal of kindness? Not only that. Rather, nice people who try harder often end up with worse performance reviews than their lazier colleagues, who only make a good impression by praising their bosses. Research has found that flattery is so effective that it is effective, regardless of whether the boss knows you are being honest or not. In other words, nice people often finish last. However, ironically, they are equally likely to finish in first place. For example, Adam Grant, a professor at the Wharton School, found that engineers, salespeople, and medical students who are always keen to help others tend to either achieve great success or face great difficulties in their careers. Likewise, selfish people who try to get more, while their giving is lower, they often finish in the middle. While good people are divided between absolute tops and absolute bottoms, interestingly, these same studies found that the highest achieving engineers, students, and salespeople were all good people. It may seem strange, but it also makes intuitive sense. And by the way, bad people don't always get away with it. Serial killer Michael Swango was arrested in 2000 and sentenced to 3 life sentences. Chapter 3: Patience in Difficult Times Thanks to the Stories You Tell Yourself. Alfredo Kawanz Hinojosa, also known as Dr. Q, is one of the best brain surgeons in the world. He runs his own laboratory in the best hospital in America, Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. However, his life began in extreme poverty. He worked as an illegal immigrant on farms. He had to show real courage by sticking to hard work throughout his life and never giving up. It seems like everyone could use some courage like this, but where do you get it from? Interestingly, this comes mainly through telling upbeat stories to yourself. This is key because studies have found that we tell ourselves about 300 to 1,000 words every minute. These words can be either positive, such as "I can handle this," or negative, such as "I can't do this." For example, after the events of September 11th, the U.S. Marines were looking for more recruits. To ensure that a greater percentage of candidates would pass the grueling training known as Hell Week, they began teaching candidates to use positive self-talk. As a result of this practice, Hell Week pass rates rose by nearly 10%. In other words, optimism keeps people going, but true courage is more than just positive thinking. It is also often based on the stories people tell themselves about the meaning of their lives. This is a good example of a famous psychologist, Viktor Frankl, who was imprisoned in Auschwitz in 1944. It was soon discovered that some prisoners were surviving in the camp much longer than others, even though they were neither physically stronger nor emotionally braver than those who died early. In observing this phenomenon, Frankl found that the real reason was the meaning they saw in their lives. Even during times of tremendous suffering, the people who survived were those who told themselves that they have a goal beyond themselves. Frankl himself had such a goal. He wanted to stay alive for his wife and was having imaginary conversations with her all the time. Chapter 4: Extroverts Make More Money, but Introverts Become the Best Experts in Jobs That Depend on Teamwork and Communication. How far can a person advance alone? Do you have to be extroverted to succeed in your career? Well, if research is any guide, the balance is definitely tipped in favor of people. Popular, open-minded workers are more likely to succeed than their counterparts financially and in career advancement. For example, one study revealed that the 20% of extroverted students earn 10% more in adulthood than the rest of the less popular students. Moreover, even extroverts' bad habits make them more financially successful. For example, extroverts socialize a lot, and this prompts them to form connections with others, which can lead to the formation of valuable relationships. This may be why other studies suggest that extroverts earn 10% more than introverts. Simply having a lot of friends is an advantage, but it can also be a huge distraction. For this reason, introverts are more likely to become experts in their field. For example, author and Olympic medalist David Harmer conducted research in which he found that 89% of top athletes consider themselves introverts, while only 6% identify as extroverts. Why? Because we know that to become an expert in any field requires 10,000 hours of practice. Simply maintain an extensive social network. It doesn't leave extroverts the time they need to do the hard, lonely work needed to gain such experience. In contrast, introverts don't need to worry about others annoying them, and they have plenty of time to hone their skills. Chapter 5: Confidence is the key to success, but too much of it can hurt others. When chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov played against the supercomputer Deep Blue in 1997, the computer executed a random move due to a software error. In contrast, Kasparov assumed that the machine had a plan that he was not intelligent enough to understand, which made him lose his self-confidence. In the end, he lost the match. This is a clear example of how low confidence can cause serious problems. There is a clear correlation between success and confidence. Research has shown that overconfident people have better chances of getting a promotion than their less confident colleagues, even if they are more intelligent. According to other studies, confidence increases productivity and makes people take on more challenging tasks, making them stand out as stars in the workplace. So trust is key, but how do you boost it? Well, one surefire way to boost confidence is to be attractive. This link likely explains. Why do attractive women win? 4% more than their female colleagues, and attractive men earn 3% more? In other words, confidence can predict success, and often leads to increased power, both at work and in everyday life. However, there is also a downside. Excessive confidence and power can destroy your personality. Some studies say that power reduces empathy, and that powerful people tend to treat others as less than human. This can be explained by the fact that powerful people need to make decisions that may harm individuals, but are ultimately the right choices. For example, military leaders are tasked with leading troops into deadly battles to win wars. If every leader feels guilty after making such a decision, they will not do what is necessary to win. Finally, research has also found that feeling powerful makes people more selfish and skilled at lying. This is because power and confidence reduce a person's anxiety that he will hurt others, and thus reduce his feeling of remorse when lying. This could explain why an increased feeling is associated with power, increasing the chances of marital infidelity. Chapter 6: The key to success is to work long hours and always push yourself to achieve the best. If you listen this far, you are set for success. If you strive to achieve the qualities mentioned above, you can succeed, but you will not become rich and famous just by working when you feel like it. Having a strong work ethic is essential. The number of hours you spend working will make the difference between good performance and amazing performance, while intelligence will certainly help. Once your IQ exceeds 120, you don't need more intelligence, just more work. That's why smart people succeed. They are the ones who work the hardest. For example, a study from Harvard University. I found that the most successful managers in a number of industries typically work more than 60 hours per week. The study clearly indicates that a person's success depends on his productivity, and productivity depends on the time spent at work. The study also found that in every complex professional job, the top 10% of employees, the ones who make the biggest game-changing contributions, are 80% more productive than average, and 700% more productive than regular employees. But working long hours is not all you need to succeed. Success also depends on how much you push yourself beyond your limits. This is important to remember, because people rarely make an effort to improve themselves during their daily activities, including work. For example, research finds that doctors and nurses don't improve in their jobs over time. Another classic study by Benjamin Bloom. I looked at pioneering scientists, artists, and athletes, and one of the most notable benefits of mentorship in these fields was having someone who encouraged them to push the limits of their abilities, not just providing knowledge and emotional support. So, no matter what form you want it to take, your success, make sure you are ready to commit to the hard work it will take. If you do, there is nothing you cannot achieve. You have just listened to the summary of the book Barking Up the Long Tree by Eric Parker. The main message of this book is that people tend to believe that those who succeed in life are the smartest and most talented, but the truth is that success is determined by much more characteristics within your control, such as hard work, motivation, and self-confidence. Therefore, anyone can achieve success. If you like this summary, do not forget to like and subscribe to receive all new updates. Until we meet in another book. May you stay well.